This video is going to discuss the quick version of setting up a buyer, the minimum requirements you need to set up a buyer to get calls routing to that buyer. So I'm going to set up buyer, new buyer, and the ID here is just something you make up. It could be letters or numbers. If you're interfacing to a third-party tracking system, you would put in the real buyer ID to match what that buyer has. I just put in the phone number here, beginning with +1 for America, 888-222-3333. The buyer name, we just name it how you want to see it on reporting. Test demo, buyer 1. I'm going to skip ring timeout and DTMF tones so we can get through this quick buyer setup fast. Pick the time zone that the person's in. I'll talk about filters on another video and the extra tokens. The toggles, paused on or off. Obviously, if you want to send them calls, you don't have it paused. Normally, you will be recording calls. Normally, you do not use caller ID obfuscation, which I'll explain on another video. Tier and weight, I'm just going to put everyone at 1 and 1 for the quick setup, and we'll discuss how the tier and weight work on another video. The capping here is how many calls he's prepaying for. Normally, you'll either put in the total cap call, he's paying for 500 calls, or most people now are using the total revenue cap for how much money he's given you to get calls, and we'll keep eating away at that based on how much he's paying. In the business hours here, you're going to discuss when he's open and how many calls he can take. On the other video, I'm going to show you how flexible we are, but at a bare minimum, if this gentleman was closed on Sundays, was open from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., I'm just dragging my mouse, Monday through Friday, but on Saturday was open from, let's say, 8 to noon. You would highlight that, and then here's how many calls he can take per hour, how much he can spend per hour. Most people in the hourly caps are dealing with how many agents he has available, so maybe 8 agents available to take calls from you during those hours. Down here in the conversion settings is how much the buyer is paying you for calls. So I'm going to put in here default revenue. On another video, I'll explain why I call it default revenue. I would say in here that he's paying me $20 a call, that he converts at 60 seconds, that he dedupes me for 30 days, meaning if I send him the same call for 30 days, he is going to not pay me for that call if it's already converted within 30 days. Bidding increment, and I'll discuss the real-time bidding later, but perhaps you're going to let him change prices. If you're going to let him edit his own prices by $1 at a time, he can bid a minimum of $20 because that's, you don't want him to go below maybe that, and a maximum of $40. And you would create the buyer. That is a quick and dirty setup for a buyer with the minimum requirements.